Ty Anderson from 98.5 The Sports Hub joining me on the other screen here. Why don't you join us on the comments down below? We'll answer as we go along. We could also talk to you on your smartphone. Hit the upper right-hand corner of your screen, the fan line, and we'll pop on your pretty face as the Bruins somehow have climbed back in this. It's 5-4 right now, starting the third period in Columbus. Ty, what stands?
Well, for the first half hour of the game, it was the defense. Defense was terrible. You had multiple guys watching plays behind the net. Nobody was challenging. This team clearly only has 1.5 lines right now. And all of a sudden, it all just flipped. You know, this team, they have a remarkable ability to just flip the game upside down. They get a goal, they get confidence, they get going. I haven't seen it with 5-1. I've seen it with 3-1, 2-1, 2-0. But 5-1, I mean, this takes a lot of balls, and we know this team has them.
This team has balls. Nice little winning quality. I don't know how great they are, but they do have that thing. There's no question about it. Did they have a last?
That's sort of the thing. You watch this team and you talk to them and they play for one another. I don't know if every team has that quality. I don't know if last year's team had that. It was a fun ride, but were they a team? I don't know.
Okay. The bipolar Jew says in the comments, I love it when people say Krug is having a bad game. No, he turns it over like this every game. The only difference is pucks are going in after the turnovers. He was -4 on Columbus's first 4 goals, I believe. Are you one of these Krug guys?
I am because no one can do what he does for $5.25 million. You don't have it on your roster. You don't have it in the free agent market. So you kind of have to live with it, I think, in my opinion. You look at his production, that production costs you $6 or $7 million on the open market. So using that metric, the cap space you have available and the assets that you have available, allegedly, should allow you to add a piece that can sort of offset his minuses.
Ty, you're saying that you can't get a half-point-a-game defenseman for $5 million a year?
Who can lead the power play like he can? No, absolutely not.
You can't.
I don't think you can. I mean, look at where his production ranks in terms of players who, have 50 points consistently and lead a first top-of-the-league sort of power play unit. Those guys
don't all those guys wouldn't any half-a-point-a-game defenseman invariably play the point on his power play?
Yes and no. I mean, would you rather have Keith Yandel at his contract or Torrey Krug at his contract?
Okay, well, that's a different question.
But that's what I mean. But if you're talking about getting a power play specialist, a puck mover defenseman, that's going to cost you a lot of money on the trade market or on the free agent market. And the good chances are the player's going to be older and it might not be worth it. So I think Krug at $5 million is like the least of their problems right now.
Okay. Again, Bruins just take a penalty, so they're now killing it off. Ricky says, give me Josh Anderson. This guy is a Bruin I've ever seen one. He is, man. He looks like what Rick Nash should have looked like, right?
Oh, absolutely. I think Columbus has a few of these players that kind of fall under the radar because they play in Columbus. Josh Anderson, he is a beast, man. He is one of these guys that if you're talking about a 7-game series, give me that player in your third line, your second line, because, he is what Wayne Simmons was 5 years ago.
John says, let's talk about that big wet fart that Tuukka left on the ice tonight. How much of this was on Tuukka?
I think the third goal I want him to have. The second goal I think is debatable, but
the second one was the deflected one off the tip-in?
The second one was the I got it here. The one that was off the rush, not the first one, but the other one. Not the deflection. I'm sorry. They all happen so quickly. I'm forgetting, but I would say there's 1.5 that I would put on him tonight. In front of him, the team was dead for whatever reason. The team was dead for the first half hour of this game.
I'd say the one from behind the net tipped in off the air from that's
the
goal line.
Camford's watching and it goes off and in. Yeah, that's the one I want him to have.
Of course. But he was, he was down, sort of weak, playing on his goal. It wasn't his fault, but I think he played like his defense, just sort of soft.
Yeah, and listen, those nights are going to be there, but you'd like him not to be against a team like this, a quality opponent like this, especially when he gets Sunday night in Pittsburgh off. You want him rested and recharged, and I think the Columbus broadcast had it. The Blue Jackets shot up top 4 times in the first period. 3 of them were goals.
Yeah, he was really small in this game, but again, not his fault. So we'll see what the Bruins got here. How do you feel about Coyle up with this line with Krejci?
I don't love it. I don't think Coyle's that good. And I've said this for a while now. Like, when he came over, we were talking about what he should be, not what he is and what he has been to this point. I want more out of him. He's strong in the puck, but he doesn't necessarily do anything with it enough for my liking right now. So, I mean,
it's so true. He's got so many elements to the game that you like. He's big. He controls the puck. He's got good speed. I think he's sort of strong on the puck. I don't think he plays like a puss. So he does everything well, but the puck doesn't fucking go in the net when he's on the ice. He doesn't produce.
No, and he seems, when you say he's strong and he has the puck well, he does, but he seems stiff. When I watch him, I'm like, this guy's a little stiff right now. He doesn't necessarily get into where he needs to be in time. It seems the plays, they almost happen too fast for him, which scares me a little bit because this team is a little slow to begin with.
Okay, again, fan line, upper right-hand corner of your screen. You can join us on your smartphone as we watch this game. It seemed to settle down a little bit. Bruins kill off that penalty. Here comes this Anderson again. God, he's a freaking beast.
Just turnstiles them.
I like that guy, too. Where'd they get him? Is he a high draft pick?
He was not a high draft pick. I want to say he was a third rounder. I could be mistaken there, but not exactly like your Tom Wilson, you trade up to get him in the first round kind of guy. This is, a player that they found and developed. And I think we always talk about this, right, with the Bruins. You want that next Lucic, the next Tom Wilson, whatever you want to call it. You got to draft and develop him because you watch him and this production, he's good for the next 3 to 4 years. It's not till he's 30 that you're going to have to worry about him.
He's a beast. Dylan wrote in and said, why the fuck is Camper even playing tonight? They had plenty of time to call up either Vakanainen or Lausen. Is it an indictment on those guys, Vakanainen or Lausen, that Camper's up here?
No, I just think that maybe they're saving their recalls. You're only allowed a certain amount after the deadline, but you can do the emergency recall if you want. I would have preferred to have seen Vakanainen or Lausen up here. I think maybe in the case of Camphor, they're not trying to kill his confidence by saying, "Hey, you've been on the pine for 3 months, and here comes another guy we're going to have."
Ty, I'm sorry. Is there a roster consideration to calling up one of those guys?
I believe that. So there's a set amount of recalls you can have after the deadline, and like regular recalls. Trent Frederick is here on an emergency recall. I don't know if you can have more than 1 or 2 or whatever at the time. Because I also think that Solarek is here on an emergency recall. So there is a roster consideration at play here. I don't know if that's exactly why, but it might be.
Okay, commenters are saying Lausen's hurt. At least some of the commenters are not as in on Krug as you guys are. And I say you guys, it's like the guys that cover the team. It's like you all rally around the same guys. It's unbelievable. It used to be Claude and Pirelli and Chara and Rask. Louis Eriksson, you all fucking guys used to circle the wagons around the same guys. Why is it?
I was right about Louis Eriksson.
Why do you all overrate the same guy?
Louis Eriksson and his contract over David Backes every day of the week.
Well, that's saying something different. I don't want either.
But that's the thing. You guys trusted the Bruins front office. You people who were against Louis Eriksson. You trusted the Bruins who have botched almost every free agent signing under the Don Sweeney era. I was so against.
Louis Eriksson is useless, Ty. Get that through your head. He doesn't do anything.
Neither does David Backes, though. That's the thing.
Well, okay, I'm not arguing David Backes. I'm arguing Louis Eriksson. But it's just the point. You guys all rally around the same fucking guys. Do you all get together and like in a cabal and say, all right, we're going to defend 4 or 5 fucking guys no matter how much they suck just to sort of tweak the fans and the neutral people who just watch this team and say they're not that good? Well, why do you all rally around the same fucking guys?
I don't rally with anybody. I'm my own person here. I don't rally with anybody. I've gone at it with people, with everybody.
Krug thing. I didn't realize until I talked to Blackburn, like this Krug defense team that is out there.
I was the founding member of that. With all due respect to everyone else in the beat, I think I was the head of the Torrey Krug thing.
Oh my God. Bipolar Jew says, hey, Krug in the playoffs 5-on-5. If he's in your top 4, he's going to kill you. I agree with that. He's a specialty player. I agree with that totally.
But this comes back to what you're accusing me of, but that's a different argument entirely, right? Because the Bruins and the Krug contract, again, it's not restrictive. This team had cap space. They had assets. They could have bolstered their top 4 and made Krug a great third-pairing specialist defenseman. But they added John Moore, the guy who can't outplay Matt Grzelcyk and Torrey Krug when they're all healthy.
Okay, Cam, my producer, tell me if my connection's bad. Someone's complaining that my connection's bad, and we all know how I feel about bad connections. I don't accept them on my end. I don't accept, so you shouldn't accept them on mine. As they just come back from commercial, down 12 and a half minutes, they just took an icing. We've had a few comments on this. Let me ask you, thoughts on Odell Beckham to the Browns? We're first and a third and a player.
That is a really, really good Browns team now on offense. You look at their line. Baker Mayfield thought was great to finish the year. And now you got Landry, Beckham. I love Callaway as number 3. That's a good team.
It's a good team. And you know what? It's a decent return by the Giants. At least they got an appropriate return as opposed to, obviously, the fucking Steelers who got porked.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, a first-round pick you had to get a first-round pick. If you were giving up on OBJ, you had to get a first-round pick. When the Brown trade happened, I was very curious what it meant for OBJ and the Giants. Would they trade him knowing that the market was saturated? And listen, we know why the market was saturated for Antonio Brown, but I was wondering. So this is a great return, I think, for the Giants. You have to like it. You hate losing Beckham, but I mean, I can't argue with the return, like you said.
Okay, so there's your little Odell Beckham thought. Back on the game, I wanted to ask you about Trent Frederick and just the forward group in this organization in general. Yeah, it scared I hated Lee Stepniak up here for those 2 games. Like, how bad does Senishin suck? How completely lost is he, or any of those other guys that are still down there?
I wonder. I think with Senishin, they really want him to earn his way up. You look at his numbers in the AHL the last few weeks, he hasn't been good. He had a hot little streak there, but again, it sort of went out the window, and so did his chances of a call-up, I guess. Stempniak was a ghost. He was awful. I couldn't believe that he was here. I would much rather have Kuhlman or Bleed or Fitzgerald even up here. I don't know why he was here. Was it them rewarding a year of giving him, a stipend for being on a PTO? Right. I don't know. But he was terrible, and this is the problem, I think, with this organization is that they don't have a lot of wingers, wingers that you can call up in a pinch here. They're all up here right now. Solaric is one of them. And, before that it was Heinen. He's up here now full time. They haven't done a great job sort of bridging that gap there. And it is a little worrisome come playoff time.
Well, I worry about it for the future. But, I worry about it, what's next.
Yeah. No, that's the thing. They don't have any right wingers, natural right wingers. It's Pasternak and David Backus. And then they just throw Heinen or Solaric or, DeBrusque plays his off wing sometimes for some weird reason, even though he's not good there. They don't have right wingers. They just don't have them. And it drives me insane because it's been a problem now for multiple years. I've done nothing about it.
All right. Let's grab Robbie in Vermont. He's on the fan line. Again, you all can join us, folks, by just hitting the upper right-hand corner of your screen, that fan line. You get to see your pretty face. We ask that you wear clothes, although some people don't like wearing clothes. Robbie generally has his clothes on. Robbie in Vermont, what do you got?
So, with Charlie McAvoy's injury history, what do you take on him fighting tonight? I'm not a huge fan of it, especially with the concussion thing.
Okay, in my mind's eye, I lost track a little bit in the second period, but I think that fight helped get him back in the game.
It did.
I mean, was that part of the turning point?
I would say it was a turning point in the sense that when you see a guy who doesn't fight, and you see him whipping another Stars player's ass, I think it goes a long way on that for that team and that bench. I don't love it. I saw him go to the room after, and I was like, oh, no, here we go. But ultimately, I think, these guys know the chances, the risks they're taking when they do it. I thought it was a good sort of awakening for that team.
I thought it was a good awakening for the team, but a guy who has problems coming back from concussions, and then it looks like mentally he came back slow off the concussion. I wasn't too huge of the guy who was fighting.
Okay, Robbie, thanks for the call. I think it's a fair point. I think it sort of speaks to what this team, the strength of this team, Ties. They're all sort of fighters in their own way.
Yeah, and they're all in. They're all in. I mean, I think that's sort of, listen, McAvoy, I think the fighting on the part of McAvoy, I think it speaks to his confidence right now. You worry about the injuries. Is he fighting if he's worried about his injuries? I don't think so. I don't know, but I don't think so. So maybe that speaks to the idea that he's fully back and he's fully committed to what this team's goals are and what they want to do this year.
Okay, just because I think someone's taking you on here. I think he's referring to you and not me or Robbie in Vermont. But hold on here. There's one Matt Stone says, I'd run circles around this backpacker fraud when it comes to sports talk. I think he's talking about you and your flannel shirt. You a backpacker?
What do you mean a backpacker? Do I wear a backpack?
Yeah. You like to backpack. You like to go like to walk the trails and eat granola.
I mean, I like granola bars, if that's what you're asking, but I don't really walk the trails too much. I would walk the Somerville bike path to get to work sometimes, but that was it.
Tommy in Braintree joins us next on the fan line as the Bruins go on the power play here. One of the commenters says, no Heinen, please, on the power play. I'm coming around on Heinen. I mean, what are my options there? If not Heinen, what am I looking at? Go ahead, Tommy in Braintree. You're up.
Hey, guys. How's it going? I'm glad you're coming around on Heinenfelger, but I actually wanted to just kind of give a shout-out to Chris Wagner and actually ask Ty, as a guy who covers the team, was there an indication at some point this season that Wagner was going to have a much better year than I think anyone expected? I know when they signed him and Nordstrom, I was a bit like, okay, hold on, like filling out the bottom six, whatever. But, I mean, he's, I think, already having most points scored in a year of his career. This will probably end up being the best year of his career. I'm not going to pretend like he's destined to do anything more than he does right now. But it's really incredible, just the stretch of play he's had.
Thanks, Tommy. We'll drop you an answer. I think that Sweeney replaced Riley Nash with that.
Yeah, no, and that's the thing. Like, he replaced, if we want to be, it's completely direct here, Chris Wagner was here to replace Tim Schaller, and he's done a bang-up job. Like, he's done incredible. And the belief, to answer Tommy's question, the belief within the organization was that if you gave Wagner the minutes, he would do this. Did they expect almost 15 goals? I don't know. I didn't personally, but they internally believed that if they gave him the minutes that he didn't get in Anaheim and with the Islanders, he would produce. And they've been right about that. I was just hammering Sweeney for all his signings and whatnot. The one thing he's pretty good at is getting bottom six talent. Riley Nash, Tim Schaller, and now Chris Wagner. I think Nordstrom stinks, but 3 out of 4 is not bad.
As Boston Sports Take says here, Bruins need new management, someone to make the big move to take them over the top. That is, they are due for a Harry Sinden big move. They really are. They need one.
Yeah, and I'm wondering if it's not going to be, now, and when I say now, I mean this summer at the draft and free agency. I wonder when it's going to be. They were in on Kovalchuk. They were in on Tavares. Obviously, they didn't pull the trigger. But where do we go from here? That's a real question.
Holy fuck. Good God. What the fuck was that?
I don't even think he knows. He was almost at the goal mouth before the puck was even over the line.
Nick says, do you regret trading Donato when we're still starting a guy like Joachim Nordstrom? That's Joachim effing Nordstrom, as he says. Or Frederick comes up. Or Stepniak gets top 6 minutes the last couple of nights. Does that make you look at that Donato trade?
Absolutely. Absolutely. It makes you look at it because you have Charlie Coyle playing with these stiffs. No one can score. On a line with Coyle, no one can score. And if it's not like, we're not maximizing Coyle's strengths here. By having him skate with these bums, you're not maximizing him. When he was playing center, I should say. He's on the wing tonight, but nevertheless, I didn't like giving up with Donato this early. We talked about it before. You got to give to get, but you told me you have a deep farm system. So why can't you give up something, I don't know, a little less valuable than Ryan Donato?
Well, there you go. There's Heinen. He just killed their power play.
So you like him on the power play?
Heinen?
Yeah.
I don't love him. I mean, I didn't love him, period. But I think he's shown something here. If he's out there with Marchand and Bergeron, fine. I mean, who would you play there?
I would play Solaric there. He's a bigger body, and that's what that
role is. So wait, I'm supposed to. I mean, please, Krug, Krejci, Marchand, Bergeron, automatic. Who's your fifth guy?
I mean, right now, if you're talking about replacing Jake DeBrusk, I go with the bigger body in Solaric, or I go a little bit off the board and I try Corrali there, or I reward Wagner. I really do. I just think Heinen is too wiry. You look at him in front of the net, he gets pushed around, he gets bodied. The way he attacks pucks is a little weird too. Like he often attacks away from his body, which leads to a lot of lost possession a lot of the time. So I don't know. They're very key on keeping the handedness together. So you need a left shot forward. So maybe Heinen's the guy, but I just don't love that fit there.
Okay, once again, you folks can join us on the fan line. I'm sorry, just watching the game. You can join us on the fan line in the upper right-hand corner of the screen, and we'll answer your comments as we go. Marchand cranks it off his shoulder there. What else we got here, Ty? What else stands out to you tonight?
Well, I thought they had a sloppy beginning in the terms of puck management, which has been a huge issue for them over the last week. I was curious about this, so I looked it up. In the last week alone, the Bruins have the third most giveaways in the entire NHL. They have been handling the puck like a hand grenade lately. I mean, it's been horrible. So I like to see them. They cleaned it up, I think, a little bit. Once their comeback started coming, they really stopped just throwing the puck away aimlessly. So I'm happy to see that in-game adjustment. They did it a little bit in Pittsburgh as well on Sunday night, but that's the big thing with this team. They don't right now. They're missing some weapons, so you got to be that hard to play against defensive-minded team. Here we go.
Here we go, 2-on-1. How hurt is DeBrus, do you think?
Well, he's in a walking boot right now. I think once that's off, he's going to be back. I don't think it's going to be a long recovery time. I think they're just waiting for whatever it is to not. There it is.
So Halak gets beat from decent distance there. I don't get the DeBrus thing. He scored he set up the game-winning goal deep in overtime and then was in a boot. So he played the whole previous game, right?
Yeah, he did. And I think personally, like going back and watching that game, there was a play in the second period where he was really slow to get up, and he's slow to get up a lot. So I feel like that's worth noting. But it really looked like something was bugging him on his way back to the bench. I wonder, personally, I think it was a case of maybe once he took the skate off, it blew up, and they said, okay, here's a boot for a week. We'll see in 10 days. I don't love this goal.
Yeah, me neither.
I mean,
gotta have that save.
You gotta have it. You gotta when you've done everything you can to get yourself back in this game. You gotta make that save.
Okay, Ty, give me your thoughts on them in the playoffs.
If they get home ice, I see them beating the Leafs. I don't know if they're going to beat Tampa, though. I mean, for me, I want to see them win in Tampa. That's about 2 weeks from now. If they can win that game, I think now maybe we're talking. It's just a matter of health, though. This team, I think they need Grzelcyk. I know you guys were talking about it yesterday on the air about maybe that's the guy you can lose. I disagree. I think you need Matt Grzelcyk in this defense because I don't think John Moore is any good.
So fully okay. So you have Grzelcyk over Moore. Kevin Miller's fully healthy.
Yeah. I think that Miller's the one too that would be a big loss, man. In the playoffs, that guy eats minutes. You're talking 25 minutes a night, hard minutes, PK. And if you're playing the Maple Leafs, you're going to need that guy. I mean, especially if the Leafs are on the power play, you're going to absolutely need more than Chara and Carlo on those kills. So that's what worries me right now. It's always the same thing with this team. Can their defense be healthy in the playoffs? Because if it is, I think they have a chance.
Okay, quick NFL interlude. Earl Thomas to the Browns, Kyle says on the comments there. Oh, I knew it was a pipe dream. That would have been my number one target for the Patriots. I think he would have been a badass Patriot.
Yeah, but do you really need him when you have Chung and McCourty and Harmon back there?
Not really. A little bit of embarrassment of riches.
Yeah.
I mean, I think he'd be an upgrade over Chung. If you gave him Chung's exact role, he'd be balls.
Yeah, I do wonder about the health, though. I mean, how he's going to come back from that. I'm curious what the guaranteed money is, because if the guaranteed money's low, that's a player I'd probably like the Patriots to be in on. To your point, having the riches, it's never a bad thing to have depth there.
And Cordell Patterson gone to the Bears. For those of you who loved Cordell Patterson, see you later. Not going to miss him.
Yeah, but who do you have at wideout right now?
No one, but he wasn't enough of a factor there.
I did enjoy how it would take him like 8 strides to like get going. If he got those 8 strides, he was great, but he needed like a 50-foot head start.
So we had a commenter who say you need home ice for Toronto. I would say you might. You might. I don't know. I feel like the last 2 times you played Toronto, home ice was a huge factor. I don't know if they blow those games if they're at home.
No, and I would agree with that in the sense that right now you don't have a third line. You simply don't have a third line. So if you're putting out this, whatever it is, Nordstrom, Backus, and Frederick, or insert, prospect Y, X, Y, and Z, you're telling me the Leafs aren't going to go, okay, Austin Matthews, you're going over right now. Like that's a bad matchup for them if they don't have home ice. They need to be able to dictate the matchup there. and put Bergeron against Matthews or put Krejci against Tavares, whatever the case may be. But they can't find themselves chasing that team in that building.
Okay, Boston Sports Takes is going to ask you. I know this. Remember, folks, Ty covers the team, so he loves Claude Julien. He loves Peter Chiarelli. He loves Louis Eriksson. He loves Zdeno Chara.
They hated my
guy. He'll defend Tuukka Rask to the death. This is the circle of trust with the guys that cover the team. But someone's asking you, Boston Sports Takes is asking you, how are the Bruins goalie prospects? Tukes is getting old.
Well, I love that kid. They got Swayman in the college ranks. He plays for Maine. I love his game, man. I think he could be legit for this team. Then you got Vladar. I mean, he could be good. I think he's a little raw right now. I want to see him have a full year in the AHL as a starter. Zane McIntyre stinks. Don't tell me anything about Zane McIntyre. He's not good. I was talking to an AHL scout and a little while ago, and they said Zane McIntyre might be the worst goalie in pro hockey right now. Like they truly believe that. So
that's wrong.
You need a guy.
What's that?
You need a guy. You need that next guy coming in. I think Swayman could be it. I mean, but yeah, if I were saying, hey, do the Bruins have a guy? Right now it's Swayman, but before that it was McIntyre. He was a great college goalie too. So we'll see.
Go to the fan line. Will is in Amesbury. He's going to join us next. In case you're wondering, the backpacker here, the hippie to my right, is Ty Anderson.
Hippie. I go to hardcore shows, and what are you talking about, hippie?
90 are the grunge kid here. 98.5 The Sports Hub. He writes for 98.5thesportshub.com. What's up, Will?
What's up, guys?
Hey.
So, with the way the Bruins have been doing recently, do you think they might put Krejci with Bergeron and Marchand? I think they have to give that a shot at some point.
Wow, talk about top-heavy, Will.
Well,
I mean, you got to have someone to play the second line, for God's sakes.
Yeah,
I think that's the thing.
Like Coyle and Heinen, I guess.
Well, so Coyle at least has played some wings. Will, thanks for dialing in. Coyle has played some wing in his life. Krejci, almost none.
No, they tried it for a little bit. I think it was like March. I want to say like 2014 or 2015? They tried it for like a little bit, and it was okay. But your center depth right now is just garbage. So you almost need to have Krejci in that second line there. I think that almost be worse than putting Pastrnak back there. If Pasternak's out and DeBrusk's out and Johansson's out, you really need Krejci in that second line.
I don't think there's any question about it. T. Kaufman says, who is Coyle? Does he play first yet? I don't think he's invisible. I notice him when he's out there. He just doesn't freaking score, and his line mates don't score. He got an assist on one of those goals at the end of the game the other night, right?
Yeah, the John Moore goal. He had the primary assist.
His first helper. But I notice him. It's just he doesn't produce. It's unbelievable.
It's almost like what I said when they traded for him. I said he leaves you wanting more.
He leaves me wanting something.
Well, that's the thing. I didn't think it'd be this bad.
Jesus, piss a drop, dude. Just a drop.
What would if game one were tomorrow, is David Backes in your lineup?
Fully healthy?
Yeah.
Tell me who it's between. Just refresh my memory. It's between him and who?
It would be between him and Nordstrom, probably.
Then I want Backes.
Really? Even though
I do.
Like, if it's Toronto, you want David Backes in there.
Oh, God. He gets smoked. He couldn't keep up. It's so true. I don't know. I do like his intangible quality. I think Nordstrom is a fucking zero.
He is.
So I'm honestly, I want Backes in the room. I know that sounds dumb. Certainly, I shouldn't be paying him $6 million a year for the room, but at least I think he's going to bring you that.
I just wonder. I mean, he got absolutely killed by the Lightning last year, and this Toronto team is better than they were a year ago. I don't know if you can get away with it. They've gotten rid of, sort of their equalizing dead weight, if you will. They don't have Roman Polak anymore. So why is Backes playing? Why is he in there? I just wonder. I really do.
Okay, we got 2.5 minutes left. We'll see when they pull Rask. We'll see if they can pull another one out of their ass. They made it interesting tonight. This is bound to happen. They have not been playing well.
No. They've been playing poorly for almost 2 weeks now.
I'd say, right, the last 3 or 4 games of the streak, they didn't deserve.
No.
So,
and they're all correctable things. And that's the annoying part for me, is that they're all correctable things. And the fact that you're still putting yourself in early holes because you can't manage the puck is very annoying. And it makes you wonder, that's why I'm saying they need home ice. I worry about this team in the sense, if they're on the road, I don't know if they can dig out of these holes like this.
Okay, Halak, get off there. Why is he still in? Go. Who do you like across the league as they just freeze it now with a minute 20 left? Go ahead.
Winnipeg looks great. I know they've struggled of late, but I look at that roster and I think that's a good team. My pick right now, though, if I had to pick, Vegas Golden Knights. I love their roster. I love what they've done. They added Pacioretty in the offseason, Stastny in the offseason. They add Mark Stone. Look at their forward group, man. That is a good team. If Fleury can be what he was last year, I think they could win the Stanley Cup this year.
Let's grab Tyler in Brockton. He's going to join us next on the fan line. Minute 20 left, so you don't have much time. If the Columbus Blue Jackets pot an empty netter, I'm fucking outie. So get in while you can if you want to join us. Go ahead, Tyler in Brockton. What do you got?
Yo, can you hear me? I'm a Krug hater. I just think he puts up a lot of points on the power play. It's great and everything, but when you get to the playoffs, much more 5-on-5 play. And I just think he's in your top four. I just don't like that. I just know in 2000 when they made it far with the Blackhawks, he was like the 6th or 7th defenseman. I just think that's where he belongs as a special teams guy. I think
Tyler, I'm with you 100%.
Yeah. I just think that's going to be the killer. I don't think you can last 4 rounds with him in your top 4.
What's Krug's plus minus on the season? Do you know?
I just know he's
off the top of my head, I do not know.
I just know he's -4 tonight.
-4 tonight. All right, Tyler, thanks for calling in. Empty netter goes in the net, 7-4. Bruins down. I'm done. You got any final thoughts there, Ty Anderson?
I really can't wait for our show when it's Game 7 and Torrey Krug scores a game-tying goal again. And we have to talk about this because he's good in the playoffs. I know you hate him, but he's good in the playoffs.
Right. He'll score the game-tying goal and take a -3. That's Torrey Krug.
Amen.
Ty, thanks for joining us. We appreciate it. Third Period Live returns next Tuesday. I don't know who the Bruins play next Tuesday. Do you know?
New York Islanders.
Okay. Bruins Islanders next Tuesday. Join us here on the app. See you, everybody. Goodbye.